Hello, today I am talking about live streaming with Streamlabs OBS. Streamlabs is free software, so the aim today is to show you a low-cost way of stepping up your live streams and potentially your video recording with multiple camera inputs that you can switch between. Okay, so one slight potential limitation is that you do have to set up your stream on a computer. Once it is set up, you do have the option to use apps either on mobile or a tablet device to control the stream, so to control the switching between the different inputs, but you do have to start it off from a computer. Now, so I have a webcam for my face view, okay, and then I'm going to be using an iPhone to film my desk view. And you can see that I've got two options there. I can do it as a wireless webcam or I can connect it via HDMI. Now, that's because I'm kind of mixing and matching. I have an iPhone, but I have a PC. If you have an iPhone and a Mac, then you have more options available to you for wired connections. Also, if you have an Android device, you have more options for wired connections through to a PC. Okay, but let's start with the wireless option. So what you are going to need is an app called Epoch Cam. There is a free version which you can use to test it out, but if you want to film in HD, so that 1920 to 1080 ratio that's perfect for Facebook and YouTube, you're going to have to buy the premium version of their app, which is $7.99 in the App Store. Okay, and then what you're going to do is you're going to have to go onto the developer's website to download the drivers for your computer. So that's just Kinoni.com. Okay, and then that's going to give you the software that's going to connect the two together. So once you have the driver installed on your computer and the app open on your phone, as long as the two are on the same Wi-Fi network, they will connect, and that will turn your iPhone into a wireless webcam. Okay, so let's go back to that. For the wired option, you can see you need a few more things. So you need an HDMI capture card, the right cable, and then this free app this time to get this to go. So I'm just going to hop onto Amazon. Now, if you search for an HDMI capture card, you might get a bit of a shock because it's definitely not going to come up as a low-cost option. Okay, so you know, we were talking about hundreds of dollars for these, but for some reason, not quite sure why, a couple of months ago, rather cheaper ones came onto the market. Now, obviously, like with anything, if it's cheaper, then the quality is not the same standard. However, it's cheaper and it will get the job done. Okay, so it's got a kind of compromise idea. So you can pick up a decent HDMI capture card for not too much money. And I will link the one that I've used in the comments after this video. Okay, the other thing that you'll need is a Lightning to HDMI cable, and the same thing, you can buy one from Apple or you can buy a compatible one and save yourself a little bit more money. Okay, and then the last thing that we need is that app. So I've actually found the True Visage app, or however you want to say it, and that is just because the video camera on more recent iPhones doesn't actually rotate to be landscape. Okay, the controls stay and it keeps the video as portrait, which is not what we want if we are mirroring our screen. Also, those video controls stay on the screen, and that's going to mess up our live stream, because what we are actually doing with this method is we are mirroring our phone screen to our computer in order for that to be our stream input. Okay, so I did a bit of searching, and that True Visage app kind of gets us the screen that we need, but more on that later when I show you exactly how to set it up. Now we need to set up our scenes and sources in Streamlabs OBS. So I have opened the Streamlabs program on my computer, and as you can see, it defaults to have one scene there already. We're just going to add to this. So I am going to start by adding a new scene, which is going to be my first scene, and this is going to be the opening. Okay, if you label it clearly, it does help further down the line. So I'm just going to put that at the top. Okay, so now I've got a scene. I need to put in a source to actually display something in that scene. Okay, so I'm going to click to add a new source. This one is going to be an image. Okay, click add source. There we go, I've got my open slide ready. I'm going to browse to find it on my computer, and there we go. So this is just 1920 by 1080, so that kind of standard 16:9 widescreen ratio. I'm just going to click done. Okay, and that's the same size as my canvas here. Okay, so I'm going to start off with this screen. I've got one other image screen to add, so this is my ending. Okay, and same thing, I'm going to add a source and an image. Now this time, because I've already added an image already, it's asking me if I want to use that same source again, but I don't. In this one, I want to add a new source instead. Okay, and I'm going to call this my end slide. I'm going to add a source, and the same thing, I'm just going to browse, and there you go, and then click done. Okay, and as you can see, they fill the screen. I don't need to arrange it or center it or anything. It does it automatically. Okay, so I've got my opening and my ending. Those are the easy bits. Right, so now, as you can see, I already had here, this is my webcam. Okay, I'm actually just going to change the name of that to be face view. Okay, so that's going to be the face view. Okay, and obviously I need to add my source, so I'm going to add source again. Okay, this time I'm going to choose video capture device because I want it to be my webcam. In fact, it is a Logitech webcam. It's an old one, but it's a webcam that still works, which is good enough for now. So I'm going to click to add it, and I'm just going to label it as webcam. Okay, I'm going to add the source. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to check by going to custom, and you need to have a look at your own settings. That's the maximum resolution that I can choose. Okay, this isn't a widescreen webcam. I do need to get around to getting one of those, but at the minute they're overpriced and out of stock. But that's the best I can do. So I'm just going to click done. And what you could do is you could transform and then fit to screen. You don't want to do stretch to screen because that's going to change the aspect ratio and make things look a bit squashed or stretched. But if I do fit to screen, okay, it means that I'm filling the height of the screen at least. And as you can see from these helpful pixels numbers, it's also centered it automatically for me. Okay, now these black bars at the side, like I said, because I haven't got an HD widescreen webcam, that's where that's coming from. Okay, so you just need to kind of have a play with your own devices, and you can find ways around that one with better equipment, to be honest. Okay. So that's the face view. Now what we want to do is add the desk view. So I'm going to add another scene. Okay, and this is going to be my desk view. Okay, so I'm just going to keep that in order, nice and easy. So I have my iPhone set up ready. I already have the Epoch Cam app all set up and focused and lined up onto my work surface. So now if I click plus, and video capture device, add source, this is a new source. Okay, this is going to be my iPhone with app. Okay, add the source, and then if I click here, should see then Epoch Cam camera there. Okay, and what you can do, again, do the same thing, custom, and we've got 1920 by 1080, so you can see that it fills my screen. Okay, it's shaking slightly because of the way I've got it set up in my mount. It is not an ideal tripod. I need to invest in something that's a bit better if I'm going to do this myself. But yeah, so ignore the tripod legs, okay, and ignore the slight shaking. But you can see that that is giving me a really clear view of my desk. Okay, now, so this means that during my live, I can start with my opening screen. I can then flick to my face view and I can greet everyone and say hello. I can then flick to the desk view. I can do my crafting. I can make my card. I can then choose to go back to say goodbye. And then I can go to the ending where I can just kind of finish it off and stop the live without having kind of any awkwardness at the end if I get a bit lost. Okay, so one other thing that people wanted to know how to do is how to do kind of like a picture-in-picture. So having the desk view, but then also having you on screen as well. So you can still talk to people and they can still see you. So we're going to add one more scene. Okay, and this I'm just going to label as picture-in-picture. Okay, and again, I'm just going to put it into order. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the desk view and I'm actually going to just copy that source to save me setting it up again. Okay, and then go back to picture-in-picture, then click on the source bit, and I can actually paste that source in there. Okay, now the other thing I need is obviously the face view, which is the webcam source. So I can copy that webcam and I can paste it into the picture-in-picture. So at the minute, obviously that's not what we want because I'm blocking the entire workspace. They don't want to see me, they want to see my crafting. So what I can do is shrink this down and pop it over into the corner. Now what you can do is, you see, if you put it far enough, you can get those little pixel measurements, and then what you can do is you can use the arrow keys and you can make it so that it is actually evenly aligned. Sorry, I'm a bit kind of pedantic when it comes to things like that. Okay, so you can see that now you have this picture-in-picture view, so you can be crafting and you can also talk to camera. Okay, now what I would say is that getting your setup right for that could be a little bit tricky, because what you don't want to be doing is to be too far away from your webcam. Okay, I actually had to twist things around a bit so that I could still talk to camera while also comfortably have my hands on the crafting desk. But what you want to remember is that if you're really involved in crafting, then as you can see right now, I'm looking at my craft desk, I'm not actually making eye contact with that camera. Okay, the people who do this, they're great. Okay, demos who do this really well. I don't think I realized quite how hard it was until I tried. It's probably going to take a bit of practice. If it doesn't take practice for you, then great, you're brilliant. I would say it's going to need a little bit of practice, because you need to be crafting. I know when I'm crafting, I'm kind of eyes on my work and really kind of focused. But this approach, it's going to require you to look at that camera, which is in a slightly different position quite frequently. Otherwise, people are just going to be seeing the top of your head or the side of your head, okay? And they want you to be making eye contact with them. Okay, that's the value in this, okay? That's the connection with your viewers that you've got across the screen. Okay, right, so the next thing I'm going to show you is how to connect the phone in a slightly different way. So currently we're using the app, which is relying on Wi-Fi between the Wi-Fi connection between the phone and the computer. Now, if your Wi-Fi is unreliable, or for some reason it's playing up, then or if you can't get the app to connect for whatever reason, then you would then have to rely on the wired connection. Okay, so I want to show you how to set up that wired connection instead. So now I have my iPhone connected to the computer via cable, so I am going to add this as an additional scene. Okay, and this is going to be the desk view with a wire connection. Okay, and then I'm going to delete this afterwards, so it doesn't matter that it's in the wrong place. But I'm going to add a new source. It's still video capture device because this time I'm using a capture card, as I explained before. I'm going to click to add the source. It's still a new source. I'm going to label this as iPhone wired. Okay, and add source. And then what I'm going to do is, this is the one I want for this. So it's USB video. Okay, and it's coming up as I can do the custom, but it's 1920 by 1080. And again, that matches my canvas and the output that I want now. Okay, so you will see that straight away we have a potential issue, which are these black bars. And that's because my iPhone screen is not the right ratio. So as I said before, I'm using the True Visage, or however you want to say it, app, to give me a kind of a camera view. So it's mirroring my phone screen, and that app is just giving me a very clean camera view, okay, with no visible controls that are going to get in the way of my filming. But the issue is I do have those black bars at the top and bottom. Now, you could turn it into an advantage by using this space to show some messages that you want to during your live. So maybe you want to share your blog URL, or you want to share details about how to buy the products that you're showing, okay? So you could actually turn those bars into an advantage, because you could put overlays and use that space so that you are then not covering up any of your actual workspace and your video, okay? But the other way is you can just kind of resize this screen so that those black bars disappear. So what you need to do is pull it slightly off and then make it bigger. Okay, and you're going to want, it's a bit of guesswork, you'll get there in the end. Okay, and then what you want, probably a little bit more. Okay, you want to get rid of that bar at the bottom as well. Okay, so then what you do when you think you've got it is go to transform and then center on the screen. Okay, so what I've got here is I've got that bar that I know that is towards the bottom of my iPhone screen. So actually, if I want to know for sure, I've got rid of all the bars. I want that bar to be not visible. So again, center on the screen. That's going to do. Okay, so I've managed to move my grid paper slightly, but what you can do, what's the wrong way? What you can do is line that up again. Okay, and the advantage of using grid paper is that it does give you a very clear area to show what is going to be on screen and what is going to be off screen. Now, just a little kind of comment on quality. This is not as crystal clear as the view that we got from the app. So if I grab my stamp set, okay, you'll see that it's still visible, but it's not quite as crisp. Okay, so you would just want to be aware of that if you were using this option. Okay. Just before I show you how to actually go live on Facebook, I wanted to mention the audio. So you'll be able to see in the bottom right here, you'll be able to see this bar. It's going up as I talk. So that's obviously taking in my words. Okay. It should pick up your microphone automatically. If you do have multiple microphones connected, then you might have to select which is the active one. So what you need to do is go to the settings, the settings icon in the bottom left, and then you can go to audio, and you can see here that I've just got this, it's the microphone that's coming from my webcam. Obviously an external microphone may be a better solution, but you just need to make sure that the microphone that you want to use is selected. Okay, another thing here is I've got the desktop audio muted. Just in case. Okay, I have got everything muted to try and minimize the risk of me making mistakes or there being any kind of feedback. What you can also do is when you've got a starting screen like this, you might actually want to mute the audio until you actually get onto your camera view. I have to say, the last time I did one of these lives, I started the live, I had this screen showing, I then realized that I didn't have my notes. So it was actually great that I'd muted the audio because it meant that I could very quickly run and get my notes from the other room, come back, no one was any the wiser. Okay, brilliant. So let's go over how to actually go live on Facebook. Now we are ready to go live. So we need to hop over to Facebook and go to the live producer. You can either go to it direct, or you can click the go live button on posts, on the create a post option, wherever you want to go live. So I do not want to be going live on my timeline. I want to share this in a group. Need to make sure that I'm now going to choose the right group. I don't think Julie's going to like me going live in her group. So I'm going to go and find my testing group. Now, I cannot recommend having a little private testing group highly enough, okay, because you can play around with it to your heart's content. You can make sure that you understand all of the settings completely back to front, so that you can then kind of make things look even more seamless in your actual group. Okay, so I'm just going to put in my title here. So I'm going to be testing Streamlabs. I can never type when I'm recording anything. And I'm just going to write a description. Hopefully this works. Okay, so what we need is we are going to be using a stream key, and this is how you connect Streamlabs through to Facebook Live Producer. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy that stream key. Okay, and as it says here, these are valid for a limited amount of time. So the odds are that whenever you stream, you're going to need to copy that one again. Okay, so now I've got my stream key. I'm going to go back over to Streamlabs. I'm going to hop into the settings, and this time I'm going to go to stream. Okay, it's Facebook Live, it's the default server, and I'm just going to paste that stream key in. Okay, so, and I'm going to click done. Okay, so now in theory, if I click go live here, it's going to connect through to that live producer preview so that I can check that everything is working well, so that then I can click the go live on Facebook to actually go live. So clicking this here just connects the two. So remember what I said at the minute, I've got this turned off. So if I end up talking to myself for any particular reason, particularly if something goes wrong, my audience isn't going to hear that. Okay, so I'm going to click go live. Okay, and you see that this is now live. And then if I open Live Producer, you see that this is connecting, and I can actually scroll up and I can see that that is all connected. Okay, so what I'm going to recommend, and this, try it out, but this is how I found it easy to do, is that I don't like watching this, or I don't like being able to see this because of the delay. There is always going to be a slight delay on the live stream compared to what you are doing, and actually using something like Streamlabs extends that delay slightly, so it can be a bit confusing if you're doing something and you're looking at the screen, because sometimes the temptation is to wait for the screen to catch up, but then you just end up getting further and further behind. So what I do is I open Streamlabs over the top. Okay, now, because I'm switching between different things, I'll be able to work out roughly what's going on behind just by seeing that, but it won't kind of distract my attention. I'm going to be able to see what's going on right here, okay? Also, once I start the live, I'm going to be able to track comments here, okay? You could also have another device, a tablet. So for example, I could grab my iPad, I could actually navigate to that group and have the live playing on my iPad. So that's just viewing the live rather than going live. I'm not going live on my iPad, I'm just viewing the live. That might be an easier way of watching the comments. It depends a little bit about your setup. Again, if you're focused on your crafting area, you might not want to be looking over at your computer screen that often, so it might be easier for you to have that iPad in front of you. Okay, right, I'm going on and on a bit here, so I'm just going to click go live. I'm just going to double check that I'm not going live in someone's group and they're going to think that I'm crazy. No, I'm definitely in testing. Right, I'm going to click go live. Okay, and you see that it's going to start, and you're going to see that once it connects, fingers crossed, as I said, hopefully this works. Just getting slightly concerned now. Okay, there we go. So what's going to happen is these comments are going to pop up here. Okay, I don't think my husband's in the group to actually kind of write any comments for me for us to see that happening, but let's see, I might be able to grab a different device and pop on a comment so we can see it working. Okay, I'm just going to put my screen over the top. So right now I'm still talking, but this is not going onto Facebook because I've muted it, okay, on that screen. So what I could do is I could click to unmute and then click to go to the face view, and that would do my introduction for my Facebook Live. So I'm just going to do that now and hopefully not feel too self-conscious about it. Hi, so this is where I would now do my introduction to my Facebook Live, because I'm live in the group. And if you watch the back, so this bit here, if I kind of do this, you see that that's the point where it actually flicked over, so you can see that actual considerable delay. It's worth being aware of that, and that's why it's quite difficult if you end up watching the live at the same time. So I prefer to just watch the Streamlabs bit. Okay, so what I can do, as I said before, is then when I've finished talking to camera, I can then switch to my desk view, and you can see this is my desk view. I've just got some props, so you can see that I've got a stamp set here, I've got the card, okay, it's really crystal clear, okay, that HD app that cost me $8 is probably worth it, because that is giving me actually a really good picture. And what I can do is the focus is set, okay, so I set the focus when I set it up. It's shaking a bit because of the way I've set up my camera, but hopefully I'm going to have a better setup and you will have a more secure mount than me. Okay, so you get the idea that that's how I would do my demo. Okay, and then if I wanted to do picture in picture, I can flick to that one, so you can see that I can either talk to camera or I can look at my work surface, or I can try and do both, okay? And then when I have finished my live, I can just bring up my end screen, okay? And then I can just sign off and say thank you for watching, okay? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over and I'm going to click to end that live video, okay? So I definitely want to end that live video, okay? And then I don't want to delete the video, okay? It's going to be posted soon on that group. It's going to be available soon, and that's all good. So then the last thing that I have to do is to go into Streamlabs. You see that it's disconnected. I can then just click there, and it is then completely disconnected from Facebook. So as it says, thanks for watching. I do hope this has been useful and has shown you how this free software could enhance your live streams. I can't stress enough, get yourself a closed Facebook group, grab some friends in there to help give you some feedback, and practice, practice, practice. I definitely feel like I need a bit more practice before I would be confident going live to customers. And I have to say that it has taken me quite a while to get to grips with this and to be confident enough to film this video for you. Okay. Thanks for watching again, and hopefully I will see you in my tech help group. Don't forget to join if you're not a member yet.